There we go. Hello, everyone. Good to see you again. Good to be with you again. My partner in crime, Betty Ann Golden, is waving there. And I'm Linda Riley, and Betty Ann is in Vegas at her home office in Vegas. And I am live in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. And as I said, good to be with you again. And we would like to pick up on what we were talking about last time. And that is the subject of gratitude as a practice, as a tool to bring in greater love, greater joy, greater abundance into our lives, as we've been speaking on the past podcasts about ways that we can do that in our lives, ways that Betty Ann and I have both used. We believe successfully, right, in our lives. I mean,
Absolutely.
we're always looking for more, right? Obviously, we're always looking for greater love and joy and abundance in our lives. But to date, so far, a lot of these things have really worked for us to examine and, to use as a tool, such as gratitude, because it's such a high vibration. If we look at love as not just an emotion, it is an emotion, it's something we feel, but
Oh,
also as a vibration of energy, right? That it is an extremely high vibration of energy. It feels good, it's wonderful. You can tell by the way that it feels in your body. It just is just wonderful feeling. And so is gratitude, when you express that, when you feel that, it's right up there. It is love. And it was interesting earlier. I had a conversation, a call with one of my other soul sisters. We're studying some really powerful mental science techniques. And, anyways, we got together online this morning and we started talking. And what popped into my mind was, she said, "How are you doing? How have you been doing for the past couple weeks?" And I just said, I'm doing great. I'm just really grateful today for another day of life. It just came through. It just, that was a big thing with one of my other mentors, Mary Morrissey, that she always talked about, was being grateful for simply another day of life on this planet. Here we are, we're still alive. This is great. So, we ended the podcast last time talking about how difficult it can be sometimes to find things in our lives when things aren't going so great, things to be grateful for, just little things, right? To shift the energy,
oh,
get out, yeah, right? To
absolutely.
thinking negatively or thinking about things that make us feel bad, to shift things. And even just a little bit, right? Well, there's an example of something of,
Yes.
just being grateful for today and being alive. We're here together. I'm looking at my beautiful soul sister, and life is good, right? I'm grateful
Life,
for it.
life is good. Um, I do realize that a few weeks ago, when my husband started having pains in his chest, and we ended up in the hospital, and he ended up with a stent put in his heart. And you, it like things like that happen, and you like, is this really happening to me and or to him and to us? And it can't be, because you think, oh, we're healthy, we work out, we eat right, we don't eat sugars, we don't eat the processed foods, and you know always been good at that. And then all of a sudden he gets this pain in his chest and his arms, and we end up in the hospital. And you sit there, and when we were in the emergency, we're just like saying, boy, are we grateful we did not, because we were supposed to leave for a trip the next day. And
Oh,
I said,
wow. It was that soon, right?
yeah, we said,
Oh,
thank God. We were so grateful that it happened then when I was sitting right next to him in our house, and we could just say, let's go to ER right now. And the doctor said that if, who knows, how long it would have taken, or even if Bob could call someone, not if I wasn't home, or if we were
that's right.
worse, stuck in the middle of driving to this place that, yeah, it's only 2.5 hours away, but it's desolate in between. So if
Right.
we were in between, where would we have gone? How long would it have taken? And so that brings you to realization really fast that things can change in a second. And no matter what is going on in your life, you have to find gratitude. And we, whatever it is, we make our life happy. We can't. We have a like a poem that's it talks about happiness, and where happiness is wherever you want it to be, because you decide to be happy. It's not outside of you. It's not what people can do for you. It's not what people, what things, if you have things or not have things. It's, am I happy now? Am I having fun yet? Because those things are what are emotions that within us that we need to recognize, and we need to create them. It's a, like you said, mentally, it needs to come from our mental mind to create the emotion. But a lot of times it's really like you've got to get into the feeling. And in order to get into the feeling, you need to think those thoughts.
Yeah, you can't be thinking contrary thoughts to happiness, love, whatever it is, if that's what you're trying to feel. It's like a mismatch. It doesn't
Yep.
occur.
Yep.
Yeah.
We were watching, this sounds funny because I'm just realizing we were watching the movie Ferrari. And in that movie, he talks about two cars, or two people being in the same spot. No two energies can exist at the same spot without something drastically happening. So one ends up having to give away or move forward. So it's the same. You can't have negative and positive together. One has to be shoved behind and one has to go forward. And it's your choice. It's your choice to choose. Do you want to move forward with happiness, or do you want to
That's
move
right.
forward, be depressed, angry,
Right.
upset?
Because if we're looking, which we're doing with this podcast, and I hope everybody's on board with this, or you probably would have tuned us out a long time ago. We're looking for greater happiness and
Yep.
joy, right?
Yeah.
And love, greater. And the only way you can do that, the only way you can have more of something, is you've got to have less of something else. So less
Right.
of those, in quotes, negative thoughts. And we don't even have to label them as negative. We can just say that they're contrary to the emotion or the vibration that we want, right? They are just
Right.
not a match.
Right.
They're
So
just not a match. So they got to go. They got to go to make room for the more of what it is that you want, right? Don't you think?
correct. And I had a friend that used to use the word congruent. So, and I used to go, okay, what does that really mean to what we're talking about? And congruent means in alignment with who you really are. So if you feel you are really a happy person, then you can't be, you have to be congruent with it and consistently be happy no matter what life brings to you.
Right.
And
Right.
find the happiness in it, or find the fun or the joy or the love or the appreciation, the gratitude, the thanks, whatever it is that you are in that moment. And I don't know, it's just it. I think it's fun. Sometimes it's kind of like a game with me now, because we all get those yucky, not congruent feelings. Okay, every once in a while,
Absolutely.
when something happens to you, you just like, you want to just be mad or depressed or angry or upset. But it's almost like now I'm so aware of what it does to me that it doesn't feel good to me when I
Exactly.
do feel those feelings, that I my challenge to myself is, how can I find something to make me change that energy? Because that is not me. And that's exactly what I tell myself. That's not me. So who
Yeah.
am I? Am happiness. I am fun. You think of the slightest little pleasure that brings you pleasure or enjoyment or satisfaction, and focus on that, even if it has nothing to do with what you're mad at or angry
That's
at.
right. And oftentimes that's what you need to do. You need to just reach outside of the situation and find
Yeah.
something else, that you
Yeah.
feel good about, or brings, just stops that, like stops those thoughts in their track and puts you on a different track. And the thing I was thinking of when you were just talking about what you do, you just become very practiced. This is it. Like this takes practice, right? Like
Oh yeah.
you have this desire that you want to be happier, you want to live a good life, you want whatever it is that you want. But we're talking here right now on this podcast about more love, more joy, more happiness.
Yeah.
And you practice those things. It comes from your desire for wanting that. And then you realize that you need to practice those habits, get in the habit of thinking happier thoughts, thinking happy thoughts, right? And then when you fall off the wagon, as we all do, like you said, we all fall off the wagon. There's no way that we'd be here in this human experience
Sure.
otherwise, right? But you
Exactly.
can pick yourself up through practice so much easier, rather than, getting in that, incongruent feeling, mindset, emotion, whatever, to what it is that you want. Nip it in the bud, get good at that, and turn it around more and more quickly, right?
Yep. It's just awareness.
Yeah,
How aware can you be about your emotions that you're feeling, you're exuding, you're thinking about? And the more you are aware, the faster you can change it.
that's right. And there is a law of momentum that does work in our world, meaning that, it's scientific, right? You get something going, like, let's take a locomotive train, you get it going. Once it gets going, it is almost impossible to stop, if not impossible, the longer it has been going and the more momentum that it's gotten. But if you stop that train before it just starts, and then you stop it before the momentum goes, you can do it and you can change things. It's the same thing with our thoughts. There is momentum. Like once you start thinking about something, that these thoughts lead to other thoughts that lead to other thoughts. And then, whoa, the momentum gets going. So if we can practice getting in the habit of, as soon as we're aware that our feelings have changed, our energy level has dropped, we're not feeling as good as we were, that we can realize we must be thinking something that's causing this, right? Like something is, yeah, at the root of this. And then do the work to change it. Like you said, maybe thinking about something that's entirely different than the situation that you've got, whatever it is. Maybe there's some beautiful flowers right beside you. Put your focus on the beautiful flowers, right? Like there's a staggering number of ways that you can just shift the energy without a doubt. But you have to do it quickly or that momentum gets going, and then it's almost impossible to be able to, get where you want to go because you're already so far down the road.
So true. And it can go fast.
Yes.
It really, yeah. You can start rolling that snowball and getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Very,
And so
very
I think for you and I, we've just gotten really good because we've wanted to be happier people. We wanted to, maximize the joy in our lives, that we've just learned to do that. And so we can do it now because it's become a practice. It's become a habit with us, right?
Yep.
And seriously, anybody can do it. Anybody. It just doesn't take, I've had people say to me, "Oh, well, Linda, I mean, you can do that just so easily." And, like you're just like that, right? You just,
Yeah.
but that's not the case.
No,
I've not always been like that, right? It took work. It took commitment. It took my desire to want to be happier and to be more joyful.
Yeah.
I just didn't.
You had to make that conscious decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't pop out of the womb this way.
No.
Right?
We wish, right? We wish.
So I guess what we're saying is that we are where we're at because we worked for it, and anybody can do it. And we would be, as we're talking about this because we want to let people know, and we're here to support you. If you're having difficulty, if you're struggling with things, if what we're saying makes sense, but it's like, how do I do this? How do I start? Please let us know, and we'll help you. We'll guide you. We'll do this together. This is what this is about. This is what this podcast is about.
Well, it's very exciting. I don't know why I'm hearing my voice again, but it's an exciting feeling. I was just listening to someone on a podcast for a specific type of way of eating. Okay, and she was talking about, she's been doing her lifestyle for 8 years. And so she is now aware of how her body reacts to certain things. So she knows what she can never put in her mouth unless she wants to feel ill. And she knows what she can tolerate once in a while, maybe not every day, but every once in a while, or a small amount. And then she knows what she can eat all the time, whether it's no matter when, and she won't ever get sick. So, but she says it took her a journey of 8 years to go through different trial and errors in order to be aware of all of this. So she says, if you're starting out, you just need to start out one way and see if any of that works or doesn't work, because there's another one around the corner that you could try, or make it your own, or critique it. We're all different. Not one way of eating is good for everyone. So, it's really, but it goes along in the same concept of becoming aware. I think the more we become aware of different things happening to us personally on a level, and it all has to do with even eating. It all has to do is, how do I feel? How do I feel after I said something? How do I feel after I thought about something? How do I feel after I ate something? It's the same thing. It all has to do with emotion and feelings. Feelings are I don't know why I'm hearing a double.
I don't hear a double thing.
So hopefully on the recording you're not hearing it, but it's okay. If it is, excuse me. Yeah.
It's all good technology, right?
Great technology. I love technology. So there you go. It's just awareness. And the greatest way to show thanks, appreciation, or put yourself in a state of mind is be aware of your emotion, which is your feeling about anything. When it doesn't feel good to you because it makes you either depressed, or it makes you angry, or it makes you feel sick, any of those things, you got to ask yourself, why do I feel like that? And how can I take that emotion and change it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And at first it's not easy. At
No.
first it takes time. But eventually, the more you become aware of how you feel about anything, the better you become at changing that emotion into what you want it to be. And that's why I think go ahead.
No, go finish off, please.
I said, I think that's why a lot of time, where we all teach I am statements, and people go, oh yeah, I can say all that I want, but if I don't believe it, well, you're correct. But the only way you're going to change it is to say the I am statements in a matter of fact that you change your thoughts and the feeling about that statement. So do you really feel that way, or do you want to feel that way? So the only way you're going to feel that way is start believing that you do want to feel that way, and that you can feel that way. And then you are feeling that way. Mm-hmm. And it's just a process.
It completely is a process. Absolutely, for sure. Without a doubt. It's not like we were saying, that sort of thing, but the awareness is key. And I think what I was going to add to that was trusting those feelings that we do have, and that they are. I learned a while back, and I don't even know who the thought leader was, whatever, that brought it up to me, but it made sense to me, and I've come to believe it, is that our feelings are an indicator. It's a God-given, creator-given gift that we've got. Some people call it intuition. It's a branch of intuition. It's feeling. We have been given this ability to feel and be able to ascertain from how we're feeling about, change. Something's not right. Like using it, and if we feel good, things are fine. Things are going well. If we're not feeling good about something, it's an indicator that there's something to look at. There's some kind of underlying emotion. There's some kind of underlying thought, because thoughts do create emotions, right? The more we think about something, the more we start feeling, the more the emotions start, kind of thing. So to really use them as guidance, I've learned to use them as guidance. I've learned to trust them. And again, that wasn't a process it was a process I had to go through. I just didn't automatically have that trust. I built that trust. And then I experimented with it, and I learned that it was always right.
Yes.
You know, like I proved it to myself, like that, you know, through experience and paying attention to this and seeing where these things go, and, you know, making corrections and, you know, that sort of thing as I went along the way. That is a truth for me, that I've come to embody that. It's a belief that I have, that we have these feelings, and it's a God-given gift to have them, and we need to use them. I mean, think about it, Betty Ann. I mean, look at the world that we live in right now. You know, there's so much going on. There's so much information. Side A says this, side B says this, side C says this. And we're like, it's like,
I don't want any of it.
how do you even ascertain as a rational thinking person what is real when this is being said, this evidence is being given, this is being said, this evidence is being given? I've come to believe that we have the answers within, and we need to ask ourselves, how does this feel? How does that feel? Does that resonate? Like what they're saying, does that resonate? Does that really feel good? Like, do I really believe that? And it doesn't matter whether 80% of the rest of the world or your sphere of influence, the people in your lives, believe it or not. How does it feel for you? Because that's your indicator of what's true. And I think that that's our compass. Like, how else would we be? How else do you? I don't know. Maybe somebody has an answer to that, but I have to use it because I don't know what to believe a lot of the time.
I think too is this will bring up our next topic, which is we're going to talk about fear. Because if you are listening to the outside world, which could mean anything that is not inside of you, and you don't feel good about it because you're either fearing it or you're angry or all of the above or whatever, or you're like totally confused, let it go. Don't even listen to that, because all that's going to do is mess with your mind, because it's programming you to not be you. So you have to come. We all have to. That's why I don't like listening to any news, good, bad, or indifferent. It doesn't make any difference. It's not going to. I am not allowing the outside world to affect me, because I can do that myself. I'm really good at making myself feel one way or the other by my thoughts. So I really believe that I'm the one that can choose whether or not I want to feel good or not. And if I don't want to feel good, I can create anything in my mind not to make me feel good.
Right. We can make up a story about anything, right? Make up a story about anything.
But, I think it kind of goes down to the feeling of how do you want to feel? And our podcast is entitled Your Heart of Love. And mainly what we're doing is wanting you to become more aware of what is your true meaning of love for yourself. Because if you can't do it within you, what is your heart? How do you feel? How's your heart beating? Is it beating at the sound of beautiful music, or is it beating like I can't take it anymore? It's your heart of your love, and it's your love for you, because you have to start there. And so I hope
Yeah,
some of this
absolutely.
mumble jumble goes to somebody.
And honoring those feelings that we have. You
Yeah.
know, I think society has done a really darn good job at discrediting that. You know, the authority is out here, right? Remember
And they
during
keep
the
telling you.
pandemic, you know, the scientists, Dr. Fauci, you know, whoever was, you know, they were the authority, they were the experts, they knew what was right and what was wrong for us, right? And we have been programmed to look for authority outside ourselves when it rests all in here, and more than ever now, with all the confusion and all the information, you know, like we were saying, we really need to step into our own authority and trust that as our, you know, beacon of guidance. And we can, because it's real, it's connected to the whole,
to your higher power.
Yeah, absolutely. The creator energy, however you want to, you know, the web of all knowledge, you know, whatever you want to call it. That's where it's connected to. It's connected to God's source.
Absolutely.
And we need to trust it, because how do we trust this stuff on the outside? We have to know and feel what's right for us. And for us, like you said, Betty Ann, it's like it's for us and how we feel. And
absolutely,
it's really critical now more than ever. And it's not like we don't have that to hang on to. We really do have it, and we really just need to learn to trust it and hang on to it. And it will guide us through this. It will let us know how to navigate, which way to go, what's true and what's not true. Asking the question about what's the truth in this? Like, there's all these different sides to things. Obviously, they're not all true. Maybe some of them have certain elements of truth, whatever, but what's true? Like, what is true? Ask the question, what is true? And you will get the guidance. You will feel what is the right course of action, what's the right way to think about it, what to do, how to be.
But if it raises your blood pressure levels, that means you're not feeling right. So you have to be more aware. So truly tune into how you feel, and that you you do need, but you need to want to be in a good state of feeling about anything and everything. And if it doesn't resonate with you, if it doesn't feel good, don't listen, don't do it, and don't believe it.
Because you can be, right? You can be, even though we're living in times that are very tumultuous, even though we've got things going on, you know, in our own personal lives with people we care about, things like that, we can find peace, we can find joy, we can find love in amongst all of that. It is possible. It truly, truly is. And it's a road we have to travel sometimes to get there.
Yeah.
You do, but it's entirely possible. like what you were just saying about what you and Bob have been recently through, and to find the gratitude in that
Oh
for
yeah.
it having, okay, it happened, but
Hmm.
oh, we're so darn grateful it happened this way. And it was
Yeah,
like that instead of like this. And to focus on the fact that you're grateful for the way that it did go down, right?
absolutely.
And you know, Bob is still alive, and you know, he, speaking to him, he has an amazing attitude about what's happened with him, and that he's just so grateful. You know, he said, number one, that he wasn't home alone when this happened. You were there. You were just
Yes.
saying, isn't it wonderful, we hadn't gone off on our trip in the middle of the desert or wherever it was that you were going to be, perhaps, you know,
Yeah.
had that not have happened when it happened. And that he's grateful that he has another day of life, like we started off talking about, you know, that he's got
Absolutely.
more life, he's got another chance, he's got, you know, more that can happen to him in you know, in this lifetime. And that's a choice. He's choosing to focus on those things. You're choosing to
Yeah.
focus on those things,
Yeah.
right?
We all.
Instead of
Well,
the other.
I'm looking at the time. We are getting past our amount of time that we usually talk, but
Yeah.
I do want to say thank you for listening. If you've listened this far, make sure you've, click the
Like
like
us.
button, subscribe, check us out at yourheartoflove.com.
Yeah,
And we look forward to the next time.
absolutely. And we do want to hear from you. We do want to be of assistance, you know, and don't think that it's a one-way street, that we're just looking to assist. We know that you all have wisdom. We know that you all have something to add to this conversation, right? This is not a top down thing. This is like an all inclusive thing. We are learning, we continue to learn, and we'd love to learn by sharing with you and hearing what you have to say.
Absolutely.
So we'll see you
So
next time.
see you next time. Bye.